We're missing all of you very much and feel fulfilled just by seeing you. It's a dark world, and the only light is our association with the devotees. And when we come back here, we always feel we're in our home. And it was especially nice because many of you were at Vrindavan and Jaipur. We were together there, and then coming back here with an opportunity to carry the energy that we picked up there into the streets and door to door. Seems like it's completing the process. Thank you for your interest in Krishna consciousness in general, and in particular in the great art of book distribution. Notably, Śrīla Prabhupāda, whom I offer my obeisances to, as the founder Acharya, started this movement by distributing books himself. Back to Godhead magazine, then the Srimad Bhagavatam, pick them up and take them out and meet people. So we'll talk tonight about the legacy that we've inherited and the ways in which we can carry forward to other people. If you look around here today, you'll see that these are all rare souls in the room because we're in the midst of the saṅkīrtana movement. Somehow or other, we've been given this opportunity together to carry on the service that Śrīla Prabhupāda got from his spiritual master, and it goes all the way back to Kṛṣṇa. So the service itself is a high sadhana that connects us to Kṛṣṇa most directly. What's more, it's the purpose of the creation. That's what Kṛṣṇa has in mind. Every time Mahā Viṣṇu exhales, yasyaika-niśvasita-kālam, athāvalambya, jīvanti, loma-vilajā, jagad-aṇḍa-nāthāḥ, viṣṇur, mahān, yasya, kalā-viśeṣo, govindam, ādi-puruṣaṁ, ahaṁ, bhajāmi. All the universes manifest, and then so Kṛṣṇa reminds everyone where they left off in the last creation so they can start up again. But his underlying purpose in manifesting the world is to give every soul a chance to turn back towards him in the spiritual world and be happy. And he says in the Bhagavad Gītā that those who take up the work of helping turn people back towards him are the most dear to him. And any spiritual practice that brings us closer to God because it's a practice that's dear to him is the most direct and the most important. So book distribution is not a PR event. It's not a quaint activity that was meant for another era. Rather, it's a high sadhana that connects each one of us not only to Prabhupada but also to Kṛṣṇa. And it was Śrīla Prabhupāda's mode, as he expressed it himself, that he picked up the mood of his spiritual master and he carried it forward. That was his main technique for spreading Krishna consciousness and staying connected to Kṛṣṇa. Remembering our legacy tonight, we can start by singing the Shad Goswami Ashtakam, written by Srinivasacharya. Prabhupada liked this. He sang it himself. And it also, he said, brings spiritual strength to remember the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Some of the lines, it's a very dense bhajan. There's a lot of information here about the Goswamis and what their mode was. It starts off by, in the first 2-3 stanzas, mentioning how the practice of following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings us into the kalā-viśeṣo. That phraseology is from another song, but it's the essence of this one also. And it saves us from this horrible idea that either we're God or we're going to merge into God. And going back, one says that the Goswami's purpose was to compile the most important literatures so that they'd be available for the world. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Shadharma Samstapako, to establish the main purpose of life for people, because most people are lost. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no philosophy, and they really don't have an aim in life, although they think they do. Because they're being exploited by many different forces in this world. And it also mentions, does this song, about the ways in which they chanted, they danced, they relished Vrindavan, and what their mood was in Vrindavan, which was always looking for Krishna. Prabhupada said, it wasn't they were saying they're seeing Krishna face to face, they're saying, where is he now? Is he on Govardhan Hill, or is he down by the bank of the Jamuna, and so forth. So this is a complete meal, spiritual meal, this song. By singing it, we develop a deep sense for the mood of the Goswamis, both in their practice and also in their bhava, or their feeling. So would you like to sing it together? Yes. Okay, let's do. SOS. Save our ship. The earth is in trouble. People have lost their minds. And there is a North Star for the world. It's the Bhagavad Gītā, it's the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, it's the Vaishnava literatures, it's the Hare Krishna chant. It's so potent that when people hear it, it goes in their ears and leaves an indelible impression upon their hearts. And when the Hare Krishna mantra comes in written form, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gītā, Vaishnava literature goes into the home, and people's lives are changed one at a time. Entire generations become Krishna conscious because of one book. And then sometimes hundreds, thousands, millions of people, because of one devotee coming in contact with the book, begin chanting Hare Krishna. So tonight we're going to talk about a mission that started at the beginning of creation. But first, I'm going to demand for my payment tonight 1 glass of water. And for my dinner later, I'll have 1 grape. No, this is good. It's an emergency. Hi, I'm Vaisesika Dasa, and I recommend London spring water. Refreshing. Provocative. Saṅkīrtana orientation session means save our ship, and it means getting oriented. When we say orientation, it means turn towards the Orient where Lord Chaitanya appeared. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Godo Tai Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonura. Poetically written, but profoundly true. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda appeared to distribute Krishna consciousness to everyone. And it's as if the sun and moon arose simultaneously in horizon go. They came to give the most wonderful benedictions to everybody. And we could see it personally. When we take this out and we give it to people, we can notice how dry and boring the life minus Krishna consciousness is. And what it looks like again and again and again for the soul to come back in direct contact with Krishna through his avatar of the holy name and through the transcendental written word. And it's a seminar because seminal means it's something being passed down. Whatever I'm talking about today, I've imbibed, which literally means to drink, from the cups of those who have absorbed themselves in Krishna consciousness, who've passed on their realizations. And I'll tell you whatever I've learned and whatever I've realized from observing the saṅkīrtana movement over the decades. It supersedes all other petty issues. There's lots of issues in the world and even in our movement. But if you take shelter of saṅkīrtana, then you'll rise above the effect of those, which can be to disorient us. So this is to orient us again. We say to Śrīla Prabhupāda that you're very dear to Krishna in this world. As Prabhupada made a sacrifice based on his deep emotion that he wanted to serve his spiritual master. And he names his spiritual master in the second verse, Saraswati Devi. He always said that he gives credit to his spiritual master and just following his order. It's the secret of success in spiritual life. Yasyaika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. If you have one pointed attention on the order of the spiritual master and you carry it out, then you avoid the confusion, bahu shaka hyanantascha, unlimited other things you might do. There are millions and millions of good causes in the world, but there's only one great cause. That's to disseminate the holy name to the world. And nirviṣeṣ-shunyavade, oh, is that needed? So much. People have become confused, they've lost their way. There is no philosophy anymore. There's just an overarching feeling that nothing means anything. And ultimately, there's no personal God. So Prabhupada single-handedly planted the seeds all over the world, in every continent, to overcome that pernicious philosophy, so-called philosophy that there's no God. Nirviṣeṣ, shunyavadi. And where did he do it? Paschatya desh. He wanted to go to the far reaches of the planet and meet those people who were so far-flung, they were so detached from reality, and he wanted to wake them up. And this is the mission of Krishna consciousness. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkashab hirashumba yavana kasadaya. Yenecha papeda pashrayashaya shudyanti tasmai prabha viṣṇave namaha. Shukadeva Goswami says it so loudly and clearly in the Srimad Bhagavatam that this is for all the people who got left out. They're not in any Vedic culture at all. They've never heard of it. They have bizarre ways of living detached from spiritual reality. And Paschatya means far, far away from the vibration of the holy name or the Ganges River or Tulsi Devi. People who are starving spiritually. We're fighting spiritual poverty in the world. That's the greatest cause. People think it's hunger, but mostly people try to fight hunger, feed people chicken, and then they get the karma for killing millions of chickens. Then they have to become a chicken. Think of Colonel Sanders. I met him in the Atlanta airport, and he squawked at me. But his nephew fortunately brought a book from me and took it along. But I always wonder what happened to the colonel after he died for killing so many chickens. People want to feed people and they feed them chicken. But it's spiritual hunger. And the fulfillment of that comes through the holy names and through these transcendental literatures. It's such a great cause. Who wouldn't want to do this? And we also have to encourage people, because so many people think okay, I have resources, let me use it to help people medically, or maybe I'll feed them chicken, or do something else that is counterproductive. And if the people of the world who have resources can be moved by the association of those who are practicing pure devotional service to Krishna and distributing it, they can employ all those resources to print books, distribute them all over the world. We should try to bring them along. The Christians are distributing way more books than we are. Are we going to stand for that? Say no, Vaisesika Dasa.
No, Vaisesika Dasa.
Everybody say it.
No, Vaisesika Dasa.
We're not going to take it anymore, right?
No.
Say no, we're not going to take it anymore. I'm trying to foment something here. You got to put a little more into it. So nirvishesh shunyavadi paschatya deshatarane. He's delivering all the worlds. That's our job. We get to deliver the worlds. You think, oh, that sounds lofty. Who do you think you are? We're not doing it. We're just instruments. We're passing on the same message that's been passed down since time immemorial. This is real. It's not a drill. This is real. We're it. We're doing it now, and we have to continue doing it for the sake of the world. Here's our legacy. Somebody look up the word, please. Where's my research department? Did the funding get cut off, or do we still have people to research? Legacy. You got to get it within 5 seconds, otherwise you're fired. Okay, go ahead, Rasika Roy.
Oh, actually, it's bequest.
The quest,
Consequence.
the consequence,
An amount of money or property left to someone in the will.
amount of money or property left to somebody,
The long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc.
and where's the word come from, pray tell?
It comes from late Middle English,
Late Middle English. Can I have more water, please?
also denoting the function, medieval Latin, also denoting the function or office of a deputy.
Late Middle English from which root word?
Can you not read over the word?
What is it? Go ahead, tell me. It's a Latin word. Legatus.
Which means ambassador or envoy.
Hey, it means ambassador. And?
Envoy.
Thank you. We are the sampradaya of the book. Here's Brahma. What's the date here when this picture was taken? Was it taken with a iPhone 14 or 13? Back further? Further back? What's the approximate date this picture was taken, would you say? April? Is that what you said? It's a little earlier, I think. It's beginning creation, right? Say yes.
Yes.
So what's odd about this picture? The book in Brahma's hand. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of our sampradaya, which is the sampradaya of the book, because our sampradaya is about books, which means that we're being deputized to pass on the transcendental vibration that was spoken at the beginning of creation. And it wasn't exactly spoken. You can see where it's coming from. Can you see where it's coming from? Krishna's, starts with an F, got an L, ends with an E. Flute, say flute. Krishna plays his flute, and it goes in Brahma's ears. How many ears?
8.
Do your math now. 8 ear holes, because he's got 4 heads, right? And that's the beginning of the vibration that we're still passing on. When you go out into London, when you go to Bushy, door to door, you're taking that same flute sound, as you see it's going to Brahma's ears. When somebody opens the door and you put a book inside their house, the flute's going inside there. And the resonance of the flute touches the soul of the person in there, and they get reconnected to Krishna. So we're the sampradaya of the book. Shall I prove it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's your job. When you see the picture, I'll ask you who it is. You say, and then you can say book or books as an answer. Who's this? What's he writing? Correct. I need full participation. Who's this? And what's he holding in his hand? Correct. Who's this? What's he kneeling before? Who's this? What's he writing? Correct. Who's this? What are they famous for? Who's this? What's he posing with? Correct. Who's that? What's he posing with? Who's this? What's he posing with? Correct. Very good. You pass with flying colors. We are sampradaya. Sampradaya means literally the complete gift. We're gift givers. We pass on the best of gifts, the gift that lifts the soul from the material world back into the embrace of Krishna in the spiritual world. Prabhupada heard this from his Guru Maharaj. It's his exact words. Prabhupada spoke to him in response to asking, or in the context of describing what his spiritual master told him as an instruction, because Prabhupada personally asked him, what do you want me to do? And Prabhupada told us that his spiritual master answered him, at Radhakund no less, if you ever get money, print books. Would you like to say it? It's still in the air. And the thing is about money. Money causes a problem if you don't know what to do with it. It's an energy. And if you get money and you don't know how to spend it, then the money will degrade your life. And it'll make you more of what you are now. For example, in America we have lottery systems where people can buy a lottery ticket, and because so many people, stupid people, buy tickets, my economics teacher said that the lottery is a tax on the stupid. So I'm just passing it on. She said it. It wasn't my idea. We buy a lottery ticket as a tax on stupid, and then there's billions of dollars apparently available from that to give to one person at any given time. And there multiple studies have been done of people who won the lottery. And did their lives improve?
No.
Most of the time, 9 out of 10, not at all. In fact, they got degraded. And they felt crushed by it. And Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta had a way of managing in his Gaudiya Mat. When there was an excess of money, he asked his managers to spend it on saṅkīrtana as quickly as possible. He didn't want it stacking up. Because when money stacks up, then you start thinking, oh, we got it made in the shade. We don't have to do anything now, we're good. We'll maybe live off the interest. He wanted his devotees to always feel dependent on Krishna, so he'd say, spend it on saṅkīrtana. They would do festivals where they would invite thousands of people and they'd introduce saṅkīrtana. Spend it on Krishna. So his spiritual master, in the same mood, when Abhay Charanaravinda, his disciple, asked him, what should I do to serve you? Prabhupada said, what? This is a quiz.
If you ever get money, print books.
Okay, 2 people passed, 3 people maybe. Shall we try it again? You want to do over?
Yeah.
You push the undo button?
Yes.
You want to do this over? You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Śrīla Prabhupāda, who is then known Abhay Charanarvinda, asked the spiritual master, "How may I serve you?" And so what was his response? Okay, go. Okay, if you ever get money, then buy a car. Is that what he said? No. If you ever get money, then print books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. He said, if you ever get money, print books. So that's a value, it's a high value item. He understood this, and he said, Prabhupada continuing, this is what he said, I took up this from his mouth, that he is very fond of books. Now, if you can take up an instruction from your guru, that he or she is very fond of something, and you make that your life and soul, your main focus, then you're perfectly aligned. Because it's the order of Kṛṣṇa that comes through the spiritual master that is the internal potency of the Lord directly. And it's by that internal potency that one comes to see the Lord face to face, by following the order. I took up this from his mouth, that he is very fond of books. Why was he fond of books? What is your opinion? Okay, Hare Krishna. Vrihat Madanga. What does that mean? That was a really good answer, but it's slightly enigmatic. And we can expand upon it. Yes? Okay, let's share the microphone liberally and as quickly as possible.
Yes, so Bhagavad Gītā, he said to distribute Krishna consciousness all over the world. That's the reason to.
Yes, all over the world. And Brihat means big, and Madanga means the drum that was up here a minute ago. And the Brihat means it's a greater drum. It can be heard everywhere. Why else was he fond of books? Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta. Yes?
To save the world.
To save the world? Because we're in the sampradaya of the book. Yeah. And because regarding the Brihat Madanga, he said a Madanga can be heard 1 or 2 blocks. He said, but the books, they can reach people all over the world, and they can go places that the Harinam Sankirtan can't go. Some distributors around in the 70s had distributed books to the children of the then President of the United States, and they took them right into the White House. And Prabhupada commented that we couldn't have taken a Harinam Sankirtan inside the White House. Maybe someday. But the books went in. So they penetrate, they go places that the Harinam can't go. He's very fond of books. If you read, there's a couple books you can read. One, Śrī Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, there's chapters about the reasons that he liked books so much. I also commented on it in a book I wrote called Our Family Business. It's about the history of book distribution. So the idea was to make a marketplace that spread all over the world. And marketing is quantitative, it's also qualitative. You have to count things to market all over the world, don't you?
Yes.
Marketing and quality. You have to figure out the ways and means to attract people and engage them and give them an opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. Here's Prabhupada's marketing. This was before the internet, keep that in mind. Prabhupada made a flyer. He made this flyer. It says on it, 60 volumes of elaborate English version. At that time, Prabhupada had 3 volumes of the first canto, that was it. But he's advertising 60 volumes of elaborate English version. And one of Prabhupada's great innovations was he sold books even before he had them. Because during the 1970s, when Prabhupada was still writing books, he was selling the whole set, and they were called standing orders. So people would order them, as many as books were printed, but then they also put in that they would buy the ones after he wrote them. So he was basically selling the books he didn't have yet. And at this point, Prabhupada was just starting off to advertise his books. He did all the publishing. He got the paper himself. He just put it in a rickshaw and take it to the printer because it's very heavy. And the printer said he always saved money by walking next to the rickshaw. And he said he was always hungry when he got here, so I'd always feed him. So he didn't have a lot of resources. But he wrote them, he got them printed, then he did all the PR. This is PR. He wrote these flyers. 60 volumes of elaborate English version. Prabhupada uses the word elaborate. He wasn't just putting out a regular book, he wanted pictures. And as soon as he got the opportunity, he employed artists to start illustrating the books with beautiful oil paintings. His first mass distribution of Kṛṣṇa book included 54 prints inside, unique in the history of the world for a religious book. And he wrote on this flyer all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. He was alone at this point, and he was already thinking all over the world. So you can think all over London, all over the UK, right?
Yes.
Okay, 3 people said yes. Everybody say yes. Yes. You can think about it, because if you want to do this and you want to penetrate, make a plan. It's marketing. You got to figure out how to market the Bhagavad Gītā, the Bhagavatam, and all the other books to as many people as possible. And if you think about it and you start working towards it, you can achieve this. We want to see every house, every township, every library, every street corner to be an active place of distribution, right? Yes. Yes. Prabhupada, actually, I don't have a picture of Beacon Street, but this is one of Prabhupada's first printing enterprises called ISKCON Press. It's pre-BBT. What does BBT stand for? For 50 points, which you can cash in at the gift shop later. What's it? Huh? Bhaktivinoda Book Trust, correct. 50 points to all my friends. Try to cash it in later. Maybe you get a muffin or something. So when Prabhupada first came to America, he started chanting, had no money. Actually, it's not true he didn't have money. People say he only had 40 rupees when he stepped onto American soil, but it's not true. It's in my book. I researched it because I had really good sources. I had Brahmananda and Gargamuni and a lot of the early devotees that I was able to interview for the book. And you know that Prabhupada sold a book, the 3 volumes of the Bhagavatam, to the captain of the Jaladuta before he stepped off. Did you know that? Yeah. $20. $20 in his pocket. And okay, so he didn't have much money when he got here, but he remembered, if you ever get money, print books. So a few devotees joined, you know the story, in New York, and then other ones in San Francisco, Santa Fe, a few places. And they weren't making much money. You know why? There's no Indians. No, there weren't any Indians back then. It was just all Americans. And then, you know, they were poor. They were just kids. Some of them dropped out of college and this and that. There were a few people working. One had a job driving a cab. That's not a lot of money, right? Not compared to being an engineer. So the devotees were going out. They were selling Back to Godhead magazines for 25 cents. And they were collecting. So they put on a big push, and they collected enough money to put a down payment on a house in Boston. That's the first property in ISKCON, Beacon Street, Boston. Did you know that? Think of the word, Beacon Street too, the phrase. So why did Prabhupada buy the house? Okay, I'll tell you why. He bought the house because he wanted to install a printing press in the house. Now, who's going to run the printing press? Prabhupada sent out 10 of his disciples in New York City to apprentice to learn how to print. They all joined different parts of the printing industry to learn it intimately. So he would have at least 10 devotees. So as soon as he got the money for Beacon Street, he bought the house, he brought in one of the devotees that was good at construction and reinforced the floor, and then he moved in this gigantic printing press. It's very heavy. It's made out of solid metal and metal parts, so the floor wouldn't cave in. And he started this enterprise of printing books. It didn't work out very well because printing books is not easy. You have to do it exactly. One of the first books that came out was The Nectar of Devotion. It had what's called perfect binding, which means they don't lace it together, but they glue it. They used the wrong kind of glue, and the books came apart. Meanwhile, Prabhupada found out there were newer technologies in Japan. And so he found a printer in Japan named Dai Nippon, still there, still printing. And he made a deal with them to start printing the books. They did all the pre-press in New York City. And this is one of the first places after Beacon Street that they had to do the pre-press, which means laying out the books, putting all the photographs together. Then they'd sent the manuscripts to Japan, and they would do all the printing and then ship the books back. And Prabhupada made really good deals. He was excellent at negotiating to make deals to get the best prices on books. And one of the deals he made with Dai Nippon, now this is going to shock you, but in that era, the devotees were distributing 1 million Back to Godhead magazines a month. Yeah. There was a lot of devotees going out. And everyone was doing their due diligence, and millions of Back to Godhead magazines were going out. And so he had them printed at Dai Nippon. So he said, if we want to keep printing Back to Godhead, we guarantee a certain amount of Back to Godhead magazines will be printed, and give us a really good deal on the books. So he negotiated that. And they saw that this was going to be a huge enterprise, and they wanted to also expand Dai Nippon to New York and continue printing the books for ISKCON, because they could see that it was a huge, huge growing industry. And they liked Prabhupada in Japan. They used to pick him up in a limousine and take him to, and they were very respectful to him. They treated him like royalty there. And there are a lot of stories about Japan in the books. It's in my book, Our Family Business, in summary form. It's kind of interesting to read. So, the Lord's plan. This is a quotation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And keep one thing in mind, please. There's nobody better than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anywhere, ever, at all times. And here's what he said. I want everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. That came from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the Lord's plan. What does he want? Immersion. It means to flood the place with books. Immersion means a flood. It means you're enveloped in water. So he wanted so many books. Well, Lord Chaitanya didn't necessarily mention books, but he wanted the Krishna consciousness movement to. Did you see it?
Yes.
Here's Prabhupada's plan. In other words, he was executing Lord Chaitanya's plan to immerse the world in Krishna consciousness. And how would we do it? He said by printing books. We can actually inject our movement into the masses of people of the world. Inject into the masses of people. Śrīla Prabhupada's letter to Shukadev in 1972, I like this idea of distributing books and preaching. That is Lord Chaitanya's plan. You see how these 3 slides go together? Yes? Yes. I'll show you again. The Lord Chaitanya's plan, Prabhupada's plan, Prabhupada's proof that it's Lord Chaitanya's plan. And now I'm going to teach you the 4 laws of book distribution. And if you follow these 4 laws, you'll excel in the art of book distribution. What's more, if you observe them within your community will become a book distribution dynasty. And even if you only have 3 people in your community and you follow these 4 laws of book distribution, it'll gradually expand into a great enterprise for distributing first hundreds, then thousands, then millions of books every year. I come from a tiny little community. It started with just about 4 or 5 devotees. Some deities came up from Los Angeles. A few brahmacharis moved into a house. They had a program every week until the neighbors said, hey, you can't have a church here. Then they moved to a storefront. And after seeing what Janmashtami looked like, they said, hey, you can't have a church in a storefront. They moved to a commercial building where there was a pit bull who used to chew on our shoes, and the guy who was the landlord sold marijuana for a living. Tiny little enterprise. But they grew by following these 4 laws of book distribution, and over a period of a decade plus, they went from tiny little goal of just sending 3 people out to now 500-600 devotees go out for book distribution. And they're distributing over $1 million worth of books every year. It's a laboratory. It's a little laboratory on the west coast of California. And we've used the same principles in various places around the world. Anyone who uses these 4 principles finds similar success in expanding book distribution. Now here's the first one. Your sadhana must be strong. That means that we're not necessarily selling people a book, or that's not what they're buying you. People are looking for someone with a bright countenance, because most people, when you ask them how they're doing, they just say, And most people don't have a sadhana. So when they meet somebody that's practicing Krishna consciousness, they become excited. Now, the other thing is, we're distributing the overflow of what we have. And if we can get 1 molecule, a molecule small, you can't see it with your eyes, of inspiration from our japa in the morning, that's enough for you to flood London. No, all of the United Kingdom. No,
Europe.
all of Europe. No, it'll go past Europe. It'll go all the way down to Africa, and then across up to Russia. I don't know about my geography here. You can sort it out later. Across the ocean, 1 molecule can flood the whole world if you can get 1 molecule of inspiration from chanting your japa. Prabhupada said, I've not written these books just for selling. I've written them for you to read, become pure devotees, and go back home, back to God. He told us that in San Francisco. He wanted us to know the books really well. He wanted us to read a chapter of Bhagavad Gītā every day. He wanted us to systematically read the books again and again and become familiar with them. He wanted us to know how to quote from the books. He also wanted us to be strict, serious, and sincere in practicing the regular principles. And anyone who does such a practice gets empowered. You can't distribute Krishna consciousness without being empowered. Sometimes people say, I'll hire somebody to distribute the books. But it's not effective. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when he realized that Prabhupada wanted book distribution, he started innovating. He was the only employed person in the movement for a long time. He worked for a big corporation. Prabhupada recognized his acumen when he first met him and gave him a lot of mercy. And Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj, understanding Prabhupada, he heard it from Prabhupada's mouth that he was fond of books. And he thought, let me try in different ways, innovative ways. So he set up a campaign at a big book chain. And after a month advertising and having displays in the bookstore, he came to Prabhupada and said it wasn't successful. Not many books were sold. And Prabhupada said, that is because my books are sold by the enthusiasm of my disciples. And where does enthusiasm come? Where's the word enthusiasm come from? And then entheos means the God within, literally. And when you have strong sadhana, then you have an overflow to offer to other people, an enthusiasm that carries you into far-flung places to give Krishna consciousness to others. So the first law of book distribution is your sadhana must be strong. What's the first law of book distribution? Your sadhana must be strong. Correct. Number 2, get books. Because we've gone to major universities all over the world and had them conduct double-blind studies. And they've all concluded that you can't distribute books you don't have. So when you get books, then people will take them. I talked about this years ago at a small seminar, and 2 devotees in Chicago, they said, okay, I'm always going to have books with me, because you never know what's going to happen. So they had a box of books in their car, just in case they met somebody. And they went to this program, and at the program, it was a house of a very wealthy person. And he had invited a lot of devotees over to his house. And during the program, he said, I'm interested in distributing Bhagavad Gītas to my friends. Could you give me some Bhagavad Gītas tonight? And nobody else had them except for these 2 devotees who had a box in their car. And they remembered the box was in the car, so they went and got it and brought it back. There were 7 Bhagavad Gītas in that box, and they gave it to him. And he said the man gave him $1,000 in return. And the next time I saw them, they said, now I understand why you should always get books and have them available. Because you never know when somebody's going to take a book or ask for a book. When we just flew from Mumbai, I kept books in my bag because I met a few people, including a flight attendant. Kept bringing stuff by and said, I want anything, thanks. She saw me in there chanting, came by and said, are you a follower of ISKCON? I said, yeah, are you? And she said, I'm not a follower, but I believe in it. And she got a book because I had one, because Sudhir made sure they had books in my bag before I got on a plane. So when you get books, you can distribute books. The 3rd law is the one we always say twice because it's so important. What's the 3rd law?
The more you show, the more you sell. The more you show, the more you sell.
Yes. Now, little Jiva's wandering all over the universe looking for something nice. And here's the big news flash. Breaking news. There's nothing nice in the material world. It's all the same thing. It all comes from one substance. And then it gets agitated by the glance of Mahā Viṣṇu, and it makes all these forms by the magic of the 3 modes of material nation. Everybody thinks there's some variety here. It's all the same stuff. There's nothing new here. And it's all boring and soul-killing. So what people are really looking for is the form of Krishna. He's the ultimate object of meditation. When they see Krishna, the soul wakes up, gets excited about it. And so when you show people the books, they'll take them because the soul thinks, yeah, it's a good idea, and then Super Soul says, yeah, it's a really good idea, take it. I've seen these devotees in Vrindavan. I'm not sure how much they do it now, but for years and years, have you seen, there's these Russian devotees, probably live in Vrindavan, and all day long, for the thousands of people coming in through the gate, to sell books, they just have a little stack of books and they hold them like this. I never taught anybody to do a thing like that. This is their whole technique, is they just hold them up at people like this. And I thought, well, I wonder if that's going to work or not. But then I reviewed the 4 laws of book distribution. The more you show, the more you sell. You know, with such a simple way of distributing books, they don't even say, they just hold them up and show them to people like that. They sell a bunch of books. Why?
The more you show, the more you sell.
And you always say it twice.
The more you show, the more you sell.
Yeah, you can get books, but if you keep them in the basement, locked up in the basement, in the box, how many do you sell? Approximately 0, because you don't take them out. I had an experience once. I went to Santa Cruz on the street, had my little trolley, and I had a couple of boxes of books. And I took the books and put them on the sidewalk, and then I opened it up with a key and popped the box open. And it made a popping sound. Pop. And then I looked up, and there was a guy standing over me. And he goes, "Can I get one of those?" And he said, "In fact, I'll take 2. How much are they?" And I said, "It's a donation." And so he gave a donation. He took 2 books. And why did he take 2 books?
The more you show, the more you sell.
Yeah.
The more you show.
The more you show, the more you sell. Even if you have the simplest presentation, all you do is walk around and come up to people. You could walk up to a window and just hold it up in people's windows. Or you could stand at an intersection and just hold it up. Would you sell books?
Yes.
Yeah, because? And if you innovate, today we were talking about Smart Box. When I was a kid, there was a company called Honor Snack of America. And if you walk into a cleaner's or a car shop, they'd have this box in there with a bunch of packages of potato chips and things like that. And then it's called Honor Snack of America, and there was a little slot they could put money in and just take a bag of chips. It was on the honor system. And so we tried that years ago to make these little boxes and put them places. You could take the book out and then put a donation in. So really, the book's are already written. All we're doing is looking for innovative ways to show them to people. And the 4th law of book distribution is? Yeah, you have to go organized, because if you want to grow, you have to make improvements. At least 3 improvements every month to your sadhana and to the system in which you're employed in distributing books. You have to find out where the gaps are and then fix them, and things will get better and better. I have till 9?
Till 8:40, 8:30.
What time is it now?
7:50.
That says it's 9 o'clock.
No, that's probably not working.
Oh. I've been flying all over the world. I'll believe any clock I look at. It's 8 o'clock now. I have till 8:40?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and the 4th is so exciting. It's animals are kind of organized too, like beavers. You ever watched them? They're pretty organized. They make dams, and then they make a little pool they can swim in. And ants. Have you watched ants?
Yes.
Very organized. So animals are organized. Human beings, we can make regular improvements by analyzing how we're doing, and then one of the best organizational principles is to brainstorm. Make a mastermind with those who are involved and interested in doing it. Prabhupada said, every person who's enthusiastic about doing the service has his or her own genius. And he pointed to his heart and he said, the master within their heart will show them how to do it if you're just a little enthusiastic about it. And so organization changes everything. When you make improvements, everyone becomes aware of the fact that the environment's improving. And you can do that constantly. Make constant improvements by brainstorming and figuring out which things are working well and where there's room for improvement, and emphasizing what's working well and then making improvements. So let's review the 4 laws of book distribution. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3.
The more you show, the more you sell. The more you show, the more you sell.
And number 4? Okay, how's everybody doing? Okay, do you need a beverage or something? You want to stand up? Stand up. Let's stand up. Put your arms in as high in the air. Try to touch the top of the haveli. And now there's a different way of saying Gauranga. You want to stretch out the syllables. Do it with me now. Gauranga. Feel better? Yes. Okay. I'm going to show a few more points that I really like. I like all these points, and I'm going to show you a few more. And then we can have some questions, and it'll be really lively. Are you ready? Yes. For a few more slides? Yes. Okay. The monthly Sankirtan Festival is really important. It brings the whole community together. It's a time in which you provide facility so everybody can come, even your pets. If you have a pet, equip your pet. We had a dog, Hanspriya's dog was named Yogi, a Japanese dog, really beautiful dog. And she made a backpack for Yogi where it could fit lots of books. And whenever we have a monthly Sankirtan festival, she brought Yogi out, and you can see the books displayed, and people come up and go, "What kind of dog is that? Hey, what's your dog got there?" And the dog's name is Yogi. It's like, "What's the book about? Yoga?" Yogi was selling tons of books, and we even put Yogi in the newsletter, and nobody knew on the list that it was a dog. Dogs are really good distributors. So equip your pet. If you have I don't know what kind of pet you might have. You can try it with a cat. But no, I mean, gerbil, cat, whatever. Teach them how to distribute. The monthly Sankirtan Festival includes everybody. Everybody can be engaged in book distribution and Sankirtan. Everybody's invited. It's fun, organized, and everybody's welcome. Organized is important so devotees don't feel like they came and wasted their time. The hardest part about a monthly Sankirtan festival is organizing the transportation to get people from point A to point B. And the definition of fun has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. And 2 of them are Z's. What's the word? What's a word with 2 Z's and it starts with a P?
Pizza.
Pizza. If you tell devotees in your community that you're going to get pizza afterwards, they'll come out. And that's fun. Everyone says, how do you make it fun? It's one word with 2 Z's and it starts with a P. It's pizza. If you say pizza, everyone goes, pizza, I'm coming. And I'm going to bring my friends too. So have pizza. Make it really well organized. You have to think and plan for it ahead of time. Don't do it at last minute. Make it nice for the devotees that are coming out. And welcome everybody to participate. Some people can come out. Some people, if they want, they can give money to support it. Other people can do backup services like cooking or help with transportation, but everybody can get involved at least once a month. Our prime directive, leave everyone with good impression. What's our prime directive? Leave everyone with good impression. Yeah, think of this. When you go out, don't think my success is the person has to buy a book. Think, how am I going to leave each person I meet or don't meet with a good impression? Even if you don't meet them, you leave them with a good impression by leaving them alone, for instance, if they're not interested. Just be kind and gracious. And if you think like this, how can I leave everyone with a good impression? Even the people who reject your offer of taking a book, leave them with a good impression. It's a lasting impression. And according to Marketing Texas, Shri Radha Kalachandji Dham, and They have a restaurant there called Kalachanji's. It's such a first-class restaurant. Tamal Krishnamar started that. When you go out anywhere in the neighborhood in Dallas, as soon as they see you, they go, Kalachanji's? And you go, yeah, they come in my house. Please, you live here, stay here forever. Because it's such a good impression. So you want to leave that kind of impression when you go out for book distribution, because we are ambassadors of goodwill. We want to meet people and make them feel like they met somebody special who's actually spiritual. So it's important. You'll never be disappointed, because it's a very purifying experience to go out into the great unknown, known as the public, and try to follow in the footsteps of Śrīla Prabhupāda, who had such courage. And when he was a child, he climbed to the top of a huge building in Calcutta, and it still had scaffolding on it, but he climbed all the way to the top. And he showed the devotees that. And one of his disciples said to Prabhupada, yes, you were really brave back then. And Prabhupada said, back then? And so it's purifying to go out and depend on Krishna. So accommodated by the environment for self-purification. Preaching means? Giving. Okay, we'll try it again. Preaching means? Giving. And now touch the pavement. This is a ritual for the monthly Sankirtan festival, or anytime you go out, you can enact. So we do some training, like tomorrow I'm going to show you infallible methods of distributing the Bhagavad Gītā as it is that I guarantee. And if you use my method and you don't sell a book, I'll pay for it. You just mark it down, send me the bill, I'll pay you. Cash App or Venmo, I'll send you the money. Okay, so when the devotees go out together, we ask them not to distribute books, but just to touch the pavement. Because at the seminars, everyone listens, everyone participates, and when it's time to go out the door, we lose about 2/3 of the people. And why do we lose them? Because their mom texted or called them and said she needs a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what they all say. I had to go home because my mom needed a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so I had to leave. The real reason was I have to perform, and if they did anything else, you can just sit there. We hear in the Sri Upanishad, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani vanupasha. You won't hate anybody when you follow in the footsteps of the acharyas and see everybody as a spirit soul. So you can be bullied when they were kids and when they're adults. They're working in place generally where they feel oppressed, they need the money, they got to pay the rent. Things aren't working out in a lot of ways. And so be kind to people, offer kind words to people. They need it. Practice. Finish my sentences. Don't be? Yeah, don't condescend to people. Make people? Yeah, this is the main thing. When you go out for Sankirtan, just make people feel special, and you'll always be successful. Do you know how to do that? Make people feel special? Yes. Yes? Okay, let's practice. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now imagine that everybody in this room has one of Chakujavena's sweatshirts that says, "Make me feel special" on it. That's what is printed right across in big letters. Make me feel special. Okay, now, when you open your eyes, I want you to turn to anybody, somebody near you, and make them feel special. 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. Go.
Thank you for the amazing class.
It's amazing how you've been keeping the devotees motivated to do Sankirtan here. It's really amazing. Hare Krishna. All right, that's it. Stop. Stop it. No more. Doesn't that feel horrible? Don't you hate that? Isn't it really demotivating and depressing when people do that to you? They make you feel special? No, Vaisesika Dasa. That's look around the room, feel the energy. And when you go out into London and you make people feel special, that's what the whole energy will feel like wherever you are, whatever street, whatever house, make people special. You see somebody, make them feel special. How could you make them feel special? Well, I'll give you a clue. Everybody looks in the mirror, true or false? Everybody takes a look at what they're wearing, and maybe they switch it a couple times just to make sure it looks right. Everybody takes care of their hair one way or the other. People care about their hair. Everything about people, you notice, is put together with some concern for how they're going to look to other people. True or false? True. Yeah, it's sociologically true. And so, if you notice something about somebody and you appreciate it, genuinely appreciate something about them, you're the only one practically in the world that's going to do that. Most people don't take time to make other people feel special. And if you do that, then you make an immediate connection with people. And really, when you see people as spiritual souls, and you remember that they're special, and you expand that to everybody you meet, they respond. Even animals respond. If you come up to a dog, let's say, and say, you know, love, gratitude, but gratitude means that we live in an abundant universe, but it's not just abundance in an impersonal way, it's actually coming from Krishna. And the only way you can have gratitude is somebody's deliberately doing something for you. If you remember that Krishna is deliberately taking care of you in all ways. He's in your heart. He's making your heart beat. He's giving you intelligence. He's arranging everything for you. He's fed you. Have you ever missed a meal in your life, except for Ekadashi or Janmashtami? Have you ever missed a meal in your life? No. Krishna's feeding us every single day. So express gratitude wherever you go. The other one, here's our motto, always better service. What's our motto? Always better service. Yeah. Prabhupada said, your service should be first class. Then he doubled back, he said, no, better than first class. How do you attain that? By thinking all the time, how can I improve? Always better service, ABS. We are Krishna's instruments. That's right, we're Krishna's instruments. So if you act as an instrument, you've got nothing to worry about. In fact, I'm going to teach you a technique right now, so you'll never be nervous about going on saṅkīrtana book distribution. Would you like to learn it? Yes. Okay, I want you to take your right hand and feel in the back of your head. There's a little, you probably never noticed it even since you were a baby, there's a little switch back there. And when you flip the switch up, it turns on robot mode, so you're no longer human. Humans worry all the time. They're worried about everything. But when you flip the switch, you're no longer human, you turn into an AI robot. And then you don't care anymore. Would you like that? Yes. Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3, flip. You can thank me later. Because now that you're an AI robot, you just approach everybody and be an instrument. And you don't worry, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? What are other people watching me? You just go and do it when you're an instrument. And you can actually flip that switch anytime. You can flip the switch and say, I really don't care anymore because I'm an automaton. Queen Kunti said it. Janmai shvaya shruta shibir eda mana madapuma naivar hat yavidatum vai. I'm entitled to anything. Who even let me in here? And I just want to be of service. So be humble. So remember, I save one soul at a time.
Starting with myself.
Yeah, starting with yourself. There was a devotee from a different line of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but his highly learned person, very advanced. And I heard at a program, somebody asked him, what is your religion? And he said, my religion is to find my faults and to correct them. That's my religion. Okay, here's a very important part. Pick the right fruits. Now, this is according to Shastra. Ishvare taradineshu balisheshu dusachita prema maitri kripopeksha yakaroti samadhyama. Means the madhyama adhikari, that's the preacher, that's all of you. The preacher sees four categories of people. One is Krishna. Second is the devotees. Third is the innocent. And fourth is the envious. So you have to make a distinction. We're not pretending to be uttamadhikaris and that, oh, everyone's serving Krishna. No. Some people are envious, some people are innocent. So here's what Bhagavatam says we should do. We should develop our love for Krishna. We should make appropriate friendships with all the devotees. We should give as much mercy as possible to the innocent, and we should avoid the envious. Don't try to engage them. Now, how does that apply in pick the right fruits? When you go to pick fruits, which ones do you pick?
Right.
That's correct. And can you tell the difference between a ripe and an unripe fruit?
Yes.
How can you tell?
Smile.
What?
Smile.
No, a fruit. You're 2 steps ahead of me as usual. What? Color is different. In a lot of fruits, the color is different, right? Right? And they're easy to pick. They come off in your hand easily. So when you go to pick fruits and you go to the tree, you find one, it's not quite ripe, and it's stuck to the branch. So you should break the branch, and you should drag it down the street and put it in the trunk of your car and take it home. True or false? False. When you are out distributing books and you meet somebody who says, I'm definitely not interested, I hate you guys and I never want to see you again, you should follow them to their car, get their license plate, and cross-reference and find out where they live. Then go to their house, knock on the door at night with a bag of books. True or false? False. Very good. So I'm going to give you some visual training about how to identify a ripe fruit. Okay, that's a ripe fruit on the left. This is a real photo. It wasn't staged. That person, it was at New York Rath Yatra circa 2002. And that guy was just walking across the plaza and he met the devotees, and it turned out he was ready for spiritual life. He had no idea we were there, and he found it. So does he look ripe?
Yes.
Okay, how about this one? Guy on the right. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little verbal training. Sit up a little straighter than you were 2 seconds ago. Sit up. Ready? Ready?
Yes.
You got to be ready for stuff. Okay, here we go. You tell me if it's ripe or unripe. Here we go. Keep up. Keep up. You got to be this fast when you're on saṅkīrtana. Okay, give yourselves a hand. Very good. You all passed. Goals are important. When you set goals, in fact, I like using this picture because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, this game in America we call football. And they have these goalposts where they can kick a ball made out of pigskin through the goalpost and you get 3 points. Or there's a line there that this guy is aiming for, and if you cross the line, then you get 6 points. And people who are the best athletes in the world sacrifice their very bodies and brains. They usually are standing there with a round ball, and there's a...
Because it's there.
Because it's there. Now, I walked a little further, and I saw a football field, and on the football field, there was this goalpost, and the stars were starting to come out, the sun was going down, and I looked through the goalpost, and I saw the universe. And I thought, it's a little too intimidating to look at the whole universe, so they just make one little goalpost right there. And they think, if I can just kick that ball through that hoop, through that opening there, then I'll be successful. And now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Why? Because there's a goalpost. And they drew a white line and said, if you cross this line, then you're successful. And so when we set goals for ourselves in saṅkīrtana, in book distribution, and in our sadhana, we'll be making similar efforts, but for something that's altogether important. Every grown men running around bashing into each other and trying to put a ball through a hoop is not so important. True or false? True. Thank you. So make goals. Where attention goes, energy flows. Okay, 10 points. A lot of people each doing a little bit is powerful. There's something for everybody in the monthly Saṅkīrtana festival. And I want you to say this mantra, Saṅkīrtana is? Say it 3 times. The great art of book distribution, and that comes tomorrow. How to distribute books of Bhagavad Gītā on its own merit. It's guaranteed. And I'm going to tell you not only how to sell to a British person. How do you say, what do you say these days? A Brit? To a Brit. But also how to sell a Bhagavad Gītā to, let's have a drum roll. Indian. I know everything. So why would I buy Bhagavad Gītā? But I'm going to show you an infallible method to sell the Bhagavad Gītā to an Indian. That's tomorrow. And for now, I want to see if you have any questions or comments. Now, we have a microphone for you, and we'll get it to you in less than 5 seconds if you raise your hand and you want to say something. Otherwise, your money back from tonight's seminar. Who's ready? Okay, over there.
Hare Krishna, are all atheists unright? How do you say to someone who has no faith in a higher power?
It's the same answer that I read in a book. The book was written by a rhetorician, professor at York University. And the book was called How to Win an Argument. And he had a section on fanatics and how to deal with fanatic. And he gave a one-word answer. Would you like to hear what it is?
Yes.
Don't. It's actually 2 words because of the contraction, but do not. Don't. Don't deal with them. So as I said earlier, when you meet people who aren't interested, please feel free to follow the Shastra and don't try to engage them. And you can thank me later, because I just saved you a lot of agony. When you try to preach to people who aren't interested. Now, you mentioned it. There's a scale between 1 and 10, and we'll go over this tomorrow, but on this scale of 1 to 10, those who are 5 and under, very difficult to give a book to. So you want to look for people 5.1 and above. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to identify how someone has reached the level of 5.1 in their life. So somebody's an atheist, they're not interested. When you become more expert, you might try something if the person's not vicious. If they say that I'm an atheist, like Vijay Prabhu, one of the best book distributors who ever lived. He's been doing it his whole life. He met a person who said, I'm a Satanist. Why would I want this? And he said, well, you'd want to know what the competition is doing, wouldn't you? And the guy actually bought a book. But in general, you avoid those who are not interested. Okay, another question. 3, 2, 1. Ask lots of questions, because we only have a few minutes left. Yes? 5 seconds or less. Hare Krishna.
While we chat, we just get a molecule of taste of the holy name that will empower us to spread this knowledge all throughout the world. How do we get that?
The main thing is attention. When we chant and pay attention and practice paying attention, it takes a lot of practice because the mind's used to distraction. But if you do attention training when you're chanting. Take it as an opportunity to tolerate benign discomfort. There's a natural benign discomfort in japa because the mind wants to wander and do whatever it wants to do. And nowadays, I noted when we were walking through the Mumbai airport, every single person in the airport was looking at their phone. Everyone. And it's the opposite of mindfulness training because you switch between one thing and another so quickly and it addicts the mind to dopamine from the light coming from the phone. So you have to work against that and practice bringing your mind back to the sound of the mantra until it's ekagrata, which means one with the mantra. And one won't feel sleepy. You won't feel sleepy and you also won't care what time it is. Because sometimes when you're counting beads, you might think, when's this going to be over? And besides, it's in a circle, so I'm going to start again anyway. And how many rounds have I done? Am I at 8 or 10? And isn't breakfast coming soon? If you can become ekagrata by practicing tolerance of benign discomfort and do attention training, keep bringing your mind back to the mantra, then the mantra has its own power. And at a certain point, it'll attract you and invite you in to this space that is fully engaging and fascinating to the mind. And that's when you're going to get more than a molecule. And if you can break through one time in a month and have that experience, it's worth it to spend the time, or I should say, obviously it's worth it, but the main point is that that's what you're looking for. Try to make the breakthrough and keep at it. And take it for granted that it's available because nirnitam, etan nirvidyanatmananam, ichatamakato yoginam nripa nirnitam, harinamanukkirtanam. Srukadeva Goswami says, this has been vetted by every authority that this works. So it'll work for you too. And he names, if you're a king, it'll work. If you're an animal, it'll work too. It'll work for Gajendra. So keep working it. Okay? Good question. Yes?
Krishna, thank you for the wonderful session. My question was, since you have done years of saṅkīrtana, what's your most profound realization? So deep.
A realization is that going out the door to distribute books is always exhilarating and always challenging because you start fresh every day. Krishna, I don't know what you have in store for me today. Are you going to send me somebody nice? Or is this going to be hard? And so in that state, I have to forget everything I ever learned in the sense of feeling that I'm entitled, I know how to do this. And I have to go to that primal state of prayer and just say, I'm helpless. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to do the best I can, and I do have some muscle memory from doing it so many times, but still I feel helpless. And my realization is that that's one of the reasons that book distribution is so healthy. It's because we infrequently get that opportunity to be in that state, especially if you're in your comfort zone. Even in your service in the temple, you can be in a comfort zone. But saṅkīrtana is unique in that way, especially book distribution. There's no protection of the herd in the Harinam, you just get in there. But book distribution, you actually present one-on-one to somebody, even with other people. And you got to fend for yourself, you got to dig deep. And so my realization is that it's high sadhana for that reason. It keeps you engaged and it keeps you praying really hard. And I'll just mention, I'm glad you brought this up, thank you for the question, that the main technique for doing book distribution is to pray hard. How should you pray? Hard. Look at what Advaita Acharya did. He prayed hard. And I did this when I first started doing book distribution back in 1973. I was watching everybody around me distributing books, and I thought, it's like magic. How do they do it? I'll never be able to do this. And so I went to the book room, and a devotee had distributed 40 big books. It was his world record. And I thought, okay, a person did it, so I should be able to do it, but I don't know how. So I stacked up 40 books in the book room, and then I put a mat on the floor, and that's where I used to chant my japa, in front of the 40 books, and I was one day. And one day, when it was about a year later, I was in an airport in Chicago, Illinois, and I hit 40 big books. And I thought, thank you, Krishna. And that's the main thing, is you got to pray hard. And if you keep praying for everything and just be fully dependent on Krishna, then you're in a state of yoga, a communion with Krishna. So that's the main thing. Okay, take 2 more questions, and then we're getting kicked out. Yes?
I was just wondering how I can see saṅkīrtana is fun and easy, because my experience is that it's not fun and easy, especially if we set goals, as you said we should, and then we try and we find that it's difficult to achieve them, and when we can't achieve them, it's not fun.
Yeah, so what I do at that point is I adjust my goal. So I make my goal is just to walk out the door, not to sell any books. Because then I can walk out the door. When I walk out the door, I say, I've achieved my goal. Now I'm happy. So you can adjust it to a point that you can handle it. If you think, oh, I have to do 10 big books, and everyone's going, no, no, no. In fact, for many years, I used to train devotees like this. So I said, okay, here's your goal. You get 10 people in a row to tell you no. Kept coming up to me, and they go, I'm up to 6. I got 6 people to tell me no so far. And then they'd sell a book, and they'd have to start over. And this one brahmachari, he wanted nothing to do with this, so I saw him. He took his stack of books, and he went about a mile down the mall. It was an outdoor mall, and I could see him sitting way down there. And I was working with these other devotees, and I looked down there, and I saw him talking to somebody. And I walked down there. It took me about 10 minutes to get down to where he was. And he was all happy because he had just sat down on the bench. And he didn't want to distribute. He was sort of Asian, so he kind of looked like a classical monk or something like that. And some upper middle class woman was walking across the mall, and she said, "Are you a monk?" He said, yeah, I think so. And she comes to, what are those books? And he goes, oh yeah, these? He's like, how much are they? And by the time you get there, she had given him $40 and taken a stack of books, and he was trying to avoid the whole thing. And meanwhile, we have these other devotees up there going, I got 6 no's in a row. So you have to adjust and put yourself in a position where you can be successful, because you already are. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayam navidyate. Krishna says, swalpam up yasya dharma. You do a little bit, you're already successful. Consider what you're doing, the way you've surrendered, the way you've taken shelter of Krishna. You're already a complete success. Now just find ways, be inventive, to just try to stay engaged, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Make goals that you feel that are fun, that you can handle. Then it becomes an adventure, and that's fun. Okay? And also, try to pick nice spots. If you go to the hardest spot in the world and you're not used to it, you can feel like you're getting run over by people. That's why we emphasize book distribution in the Holy Dham. You know, when we go on our excursions with 100 devotees or so, we equip everybody with a book bag. And this is amazing, because we discovered the formula for distributing books in India, especially in the Dhams. It works for everybody, and you don't say a word. Everyone has a book bag. They also have stickers. They have, when we're in Jagannath Puri, we have Jagannath Puri. We have Jagannath stickers, and we also have lollipops. Do you have a lollipop with you? Let me tell you what a lollipop is. It's candy on a stick. If you show that to people, did a psychological study, there's not one living entity in the world, a monkey, an ant, a human being, they look at it and go, that's candy on a stick. That's happiness. And so we give people a lollipop. We give them a, do you have that video of, there was one of the girls who was distributing books. Can you show that?
Yeah.
It'd be hard, but try it. And then we give them a lollipop. We give them a, no, actually back up. When we meet people, we go like this, and then if they look at us, we kick off our shoes. That's a thing we learn in Arissa. If you kick off your shoes, it means this is spiritual and it's very serious. A deck with the local languages on it. And then we just show them that, and then we stand in mountain pose and we don't move. And then they give a donation, and they take the book. And the reason I brought that up is, can anybody say? I lost the context because it was so fun talking about it.
Doing it in Dham.
Yeah, doing it in Dham. And when devotees come there and they're new, and everybody takes a book. Who was just there who was doing this technique? How was it? Did everybody take a book?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you go like, yeah, this is how it should be. People are just a little bit wound up when they get to London. So you kind of you have to accommodate yourself too. Put yourself in places where it's a little easier. And then you build your confidence gradually over time. Because if you go to places that are really hard, people are hard charging, they pretend like you don't exist, you can feel a little bit put upon. But if you can practice in places where it's a little easier, you start getting confidence, and that's the main thing, is confidence. Both in distributing books and in learning a language, you just have to be confident.